Today I would be showing you the 7 biggest psychological mistakes catfish farmers make and how you can avoid them. If you correct these 7 things, you will save yourself money, frustration and wasted years. You see, every year in Nigeria, thousands of new farmers rush into catfish farming with hope. They borrow money, build ponds, buy fingerlings and they start feeding. But within 6 months, most of them give up. Why? Because the psychology was wrong from day one. Instead of farming like scientists and business people, they farm like gamblers. And the pond does not forgive gambling. I know this pen personally because it happened to a friend of mine who stocked 5,000 fishes in a pond meant for 2,000 only to lose half of them. I have seen people buy cheap fingerlings and then they cry. But all these things are not accidents, they are psychological traps. For some years now, I've been able to manage catfish farms, train new farmers, and I've done projects across Nigeria. I have seen both the winners and the losers. The winners are not the strongest or the richest, they are just the most disciplined in their mind. So in this video, I'm going to give you 7 powerful lessons. Each one comes with a mini checklist of action steps you can use today. And I'm even going to show you scientific insights like FCR targets and every other thing that most small farmers don't know about. So stay with me to the end because the last mindset shift is the one that's going to separate you from farmers who get to quit. So mistake number 1 is greed. Stocking too many fish in one pond because you want quick money. So listen, every pond has what we call a carrying capacity, the maximum number of fish it can grow without stress. If you exceed that, oxygen is going to drop and water quality is going to suffer, and then your growth rate is going to slow down. There is a formula for that. I'm going to leave it on the screen. Okay, that is the safe density formula. All right, the safe density that your pond is supposed to have. I've seen farmers put 1,500 fish in the same pond thinking, oh, when I have more fish, more money. But what happens? The growth rate is going to slow down. Your FCR goes from 1.5 to 2. Instead of 1 kg fish in 5 months, you'll be getting 600, 700 after 6 months. So your action step is measure your pond size in square meters, multiply by 10 fish to know your safe stocking. Stick to that number no matter the temptation. Resist the devil, you will flee. Remember, few fish growing well is better than you having crowded fish and they are struggling. Mistake number 2 is copy your neighbors. A lot of farmers start farming and then they start copying their neighbors. You see your neighbor stock 3,000 fish and you think, oh, if he can do it, I can do it. But my brother, do you know his books? Do you know if he borrowed money? Do you know if he lost 50% last year? You don't know. Psychology calls it social proof, we know. But a lot of us follow social proof blindly. And in catfish farming, it is dangerous. So instead of copying your neighbors, copy science and records. Your water parameters should be top-notch. The feed quality should be top-notch. The juveniles you start with should also be top-notch. So action step for this mistake is to stop farming by imitating people. Collect your own records, your own growth rates, your own feed conversion ratio. Have your own. And then compare your farm against scientific benchmarks. There are already benchmarks to compare your farm with those benchmarks and make decisions based on your number, not by gossip. Mistake number 3 is ignoring water science. Catfish cannot shout when they are suffering, of course. They will just die quietly. By the time you see them floating, the damage is already done. So the key water parameters you're supposed to check, I keep shouting it, I keep mentioning it, your dissolved oxygen. You should be above 4 mgl. Okay? Below stress starts happening. Your pH should be within 6.5 to 7.5. Your ammonia should be below 0.02. That's just the truth. You don't need expensive lab tests. You just need your DO meter, your dissolved oxygen meter, and then your pH test strip. If you don't have the dissolved oxygen meter, make sure you have your pH test strip. And then you do regular partial water change. That is going to help you. Okay, I've already said what your action steps should be. Get your basic water testing tools. Test. Not once a week, twice a week, thrice a week, and change your water immediately it starts smelling like rotten egg. In fact, don't even let it get to that point. And never ignore early warning signs like you see your fish is gasping on the surface of the water. The 4th mistake is feeding emotionally. I see farmers who feed because, oh, this fish should be hungry, or I feel like giving them more. That is not farming, that is charity. Feeding should follow scientific rationing based on your biomass. 1,000 fishes at 200 grams each equals 200 kg biomass. and your daily ratio should be like 3% of their biomass. So if you're supposed to be 6 kg and you're giving them 10 kg because they look hungry, you're wasting money and you're polluting your water and you're increasing your FCR. So your action step for this mistake is to weigh your sample fish, like get some and weigh them every 2 weeks. Calculate your biomass, and then you feed 2 to 3% of that biomass per day. Split your meals into 2, okay? And don't just dump it once. Well, except you don't have an option, but please don't. The fifth one is poor record keeping. Farmers think they can remember how much they spent on feed or how many fish died. Psychology call it illusion control. That's false belief. You're supposed to have a record as a farmer because it helps you calculate your survival rate, your FCR, your profitability. Those are what your records help you do. So for example, if you stock 1,000 fish and you harvest 850 and you use 1,200 kg of feed and you got 850 kg of fish total, then that means your FCR is like 1,002 divided by 850. That should get like less than 1.5, which is amazing. And your survival rate is almost like 85%. Without your records, you won't know if you are winning or losing. So my action step for you today as a catfish farmer, keep a farm notebook or Excel sheet. Well, I have a link in the description where you can actually get to use it, okay? Review your records monthly to see trends. Mistake number 6 is the fear of spending on quality inputs. Cheap seeds, that are your fingerlings or your juveniles, are the fastest way to fail. That's just the truth of the matter. You have to make sure that whatever you are stocking, I always advise, if you're a beginner, start with juvenile, leave fingerlings, leave them alone. And your survival rate is dependent on the kind of feed, your seeds that you impute into your farm. So make sure you're getting them, and you make sure that you're getting quality feed as well. So the action step is buy juveniles from trusted hatcheries, and don't compromise on starter feed quality in the first 2 months. It's very, very important. Remember, cheap inputs, expensive failure. Mistake number 7 is lack of patience. Farming is delayed gratification. Psychology research shows that people who can delay gratification, they earn 40% more in the long term. Many farmers panic after 2 months, thinking, the fishes are not growing fast. They start selling too early at 400 grams or at 350. Except you are doing melange, like the ones that are booking people buy. Wait for 1 kg or 1.5 or thereabouts, because that's where you see the money. That's just the truth of the matter. Melange, those ones that are the ones that are smokable size, there's not much profit except you are doing main, but you see better profit when you do table size. So patience actually doubles your income. Action step: set a clear target weight, and don't harvest early unless there is a cash flow emergency. And remind yourself, bigger fish equals to higher market price. At the end of the day, your biggest pond is not the concrete one in your compound or your biggest tarpaulin. It is your mind. If your mind is greedy, your pond will fail. If your mind is disciplined, your pond will flourish. If your mind follows science and records, your fish will reward you. So catfish farming is not just a business, it's a psychology. That's why I keep talking about psychology. In the beginning, I keep talking about psychology. Train your brain first and your farm will follow. So my dear brothers and sisters, if this video has opened your eyes to something that have not been seen, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with another farmer. And if you want more practical catfish farming secrets like this, you know what to do. Because here I bring the strategies that will save you money and grow your farm. Remember, farming is brain plus business. If your brain is clean, disciplined, and scientific, your fish will follow. See you in the next video. Until then, make sure you're writing, make sure you're learning, make sure you're reading, and make sure you're preparing your mind, because it is very, very key. See ya.